Hey guys, I'm keeping my safe distance and only talking to you guys online. You're welcome. Really though, I hope you are all safe and healthy and managing okay. I've been stuck working from home for the past 2 weeks with my 4 children at home and no parks or anything to go to. I'd welcome an escape into work at this point. This is actually an interesting time when it comes to the board gaming hobby. Board games, especially the ones I cover, can be quite expensive and are certainly in the hobby realm, meaning it's an industry built around expendable income and then also around being around people. With millions here in America signing up for unemployment and everyone being ordered to stay in their homes and avoid contact with other people, it's not exactly ideal, and I feel for anyone that doesn't have a family that games. If you rely on friends or outside groups, this is really tough, I imagine. Of course, solo players don't care at all. This is really their time to shine. So, with that context in mind, April isn't nearly as bad as it might have been. Companies are realizing that now isn't the best time to release a new board game campaign, so changes are actively happening to several plans. More on that later. And with that, let's get into all the news and games I'll be covering for April. Okay, so let's start with the campaigns launching in April. Really, there's only 5 I want to talk about here. The first being Cloudspire, which is launching on April 14th. As a reminder, this is a full reprint with 2 new expansions, and while it doesn't have any miniatures, it is one of the few non-miniature based Kickstarters that have caught my eye, and it has some really nice looking components and art. Also on April 14th, Blacklist Games will be launching Fantasy Series 1, their first miniatures only offering on Kickstarter. Wanting to be used by the D&D crowd, most of these look fairly generic to me, with ho-hum sculpt design, shallow textures, and are super heroic scale, so lots of exaggerated and chunky bodies and weapons, with more plain stuff like goblins and rats. To me, they look quite similar to Reaper or Pathfinder minis I've seen, which do an adequate job for those who aren't into super fancy miniatures. At least that's what they've shown. There'll be like 70 miniatures in this box, so plenty to comb through for sure. We also have Guards of Atlantis 2, which is planned to launch on April 28th. I don't know much about it except that it's a MOBA-based skirmish game, and the first one, once it was finally delivered, was pretty well received. Next up is Daimyo, Rebirth of an Empire, which will probably launch in April, though the exact date isn't known. I suspect quite a few companies are playing it by ear on when to launch. In that same vein, Ankh by CMON will most likely launch in April as well. CMON doesn't do preview pages and only gives a date about 2 weeks before the launch, but they've had no issue sharing lots of miniature renders and very little game info, so par the course there. My current plan is to not back this and just buy it retail, as I dislike the Kickstarter exclusives used for Blood Rage and Rising Sun and feel that they make the game worse, as I prefer streamlined, cream-of-the-crop game mechanics with swift gameplay. Both tend to slow things down more than I'd like, or introduced B-list game mechanics that didn't make it into the core box for a reason. However, I'm just a normal dude and really like the Egyptian theme, so I'll keep you posted. Like the company or not, I'm mostly concerned about the product offered as a consumer myself and will judge it as such. Lastly, we might see Wolfenstein launch in April. That's right, because of the coronavirus, Archon has decided to postpone the Wolfenstein Kickstarter launch. Me pegging this in April is more being hopeful that things start to get semi-normal by the end of April, but I guess we'll see. Next up are the campaigns ending in April. Starlight, which has done quite well for itself considering, at least to me, it came out of nowhere, ends on April 9th. Frosthaven, which has been postponed to launch on March 31st, will end sometime in April, though obviously I don't know quite yet when. Have more money to spend? Well, you can still late pledge. Return to Dark Tower. Etherfields. Dark Rituals. Arceus. Infinity Defiance. Street Fighter the Miniatures Game. Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles. Battletech Clan Invasion. Chronicle X. Valor and Villainy. Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. Waste Knights 2nd Edition, The Isafarian Guard, Zarevia, Marvel United, Storm Sunder. Finally, what's coming up for Kickstarter? Sheol, that's what. Expect an unboxing of a prototype here soon and a review to follow. Thankfully, my family plays lots of board games together, with my wife being my main gaming partner, so I can still churn out these reviews for you guys. Additionally, it was once again mentioned that there will be a Limbo Eternal War 75mm Kickstarter due before Q3 of this year. There's a freaking sweet wolf-riding chick that is a must-have for me, but honestly, Charles and the team at Limbo Miniatures do an absolutely fantastic job with these miniatures. If you've never painted a 75mm miniature, you owe yourself that pleasure at least once. It's a perfect size in my opinion. Not too large, but big enough to have perfect details and lots of room to blend well. Bringing up the end of the video is the gaming news. First, I want to actually cover some positive news about CMON. In a continued effort to act like a company with split personalities, they took a break from theorizing ways to milk more money from people who just can't say no by somehow breaking their latest record of $50+ for dice packs in a single campaign to actually give something away for free. CMON released Xenoshyft as a print-and-play download, which you can find linked below. If you're stuck at home and up for playing a card game that you can print out, then now's your chance. Seriously though, that's pretty cool of them, and props where props are due. They've also continued to release more free Zombicide missions, which I enjoy seeing a lot. Speaking of being stuck at home, Modiphius is now offering some officially licensed Fallout Terrain STL files for 3D printing. I think this is actually a pretty big deal, as it's the first time I'm at least aware of that a big license has approved of this, and shows that this is something that will become more common over time, not less. This coincides with the complete lockdown of shipping for them. Modiphius will not be sending any shipments out until May, when they are able to again. You can still pre-order stuff and buy stuff, but shipping out is delayed. If you backed Batman the Animated Series Adventures but missed out on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version of the game, you are in luck, sort of. Soon you'll be able to get the All the Loot bundle for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures in the Batman the Animated Series Adventures Pledge Manager. Now that's the all-in only, which we all know IDW loves to push everyone towards that, but the option is there and that's still nice. Super Fantasy Brawl by Mythic Games will go into production very soon, with Solomon Kane Wave 1 starting up directly afterwards. The 70mm Frigg miniature render for Mythic Battles Ragnarok has been making the rounds on social media lately, and it looks very interesting. Looking forward to seeing lots more as we get closer to the campaign launch. There's been some great news for Limbo Eternal War. The ship with Europe pledges left March 16th, and the rest are leaving next week. Because of the global situation, the cost of shipping ended up increasing, but Limbo miniatures ate the cost, which is nice. I wanted to leave you today with a few other options for board gaming while stuck at home. First is of course Tabletopia, which is totally free, and Tabletop Simulator, which has more official support but does have a small upfront cost. Both allow you to play a board game digitally with others, and I've personally playtested games with these programs as well as played games with my patrons around the world with them, so they come recommended by me. Also, a fun new option is Vorpal Board. Last time I played with my patrons, we played Storm Sunder, and as that's a physical board game, I had to stream it from my phone, and it was far from ideal, but we made it work. Vorpal Board is really just a basic camera holder and a picture box, but the software it provides looks to improve the experience a ton. I'm a personal backer of it, so I do recommend looking into it. The idea that I could easily stream any of my games I own with no new purchases really appeals to me, and their app features like scanning in cards and such would be super helpful, being the host of the actual games as well. You can find a link to their late pledge manager below. And that's it, guys. I hope you have a pleasant April. I have a super exciting video coming up next that I've been planning for over a year now, so I hope you guys enjoy that one. If you'd like to see it and other videos just like this one, and you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe with that notification bell. As always, I enjoy having you all here and love the passion you guys bring about this great hobby. Until next time, stay safe and remember to have fun.